From the Bog in Mullica Hill off of 322, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting presents Tri-County Royal Baseball on this beautiful Friday afternoon. It's the Washington Township Minutemen facing off against the Clearview Pioneers. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Fred Swartz of Rowan University. We're back here for another Friday edition of Tri-County Baseball. It's the last day before the cutoff for the Diamond Classic. The first round will be played next week, and the seeding will be this Sunday. But it's a 70-degree day for baseball, and we've got two great pitchers on the mound this afternoon in Peyton Andre for Washington Township, and it's going to be Josh Jurgen, the junior, for Clearview this afternoon.
Should be an outstanding game. These are two great rivals. So Washington Township coming down from the Olympic Conference into the Tri-County Conference. But they're both Group 4 teams. They've both met many a times. It's just great baseball and a great day to play.
Yeah, Peyton Andre coming in with a 2.44 ERA for Washington Township, but they're 7-5. However, all 5 of those losses have come in the division. They're sitting at the bottom of the division, but they're still with an over 500 record, which shows how difficult this Tri-County Royal division is. Meanwhile, for the Pioneers, they've got an 11-2 record, best overall, but second in division to the Gloucester Catholic Rams in the TCC
with
Royal.
PowerPoints now, the selection thing, and they're taking 16 teams. I think the key to this is the competition you play every day. That you're going to play a very, very good team that's a potential state champion. It only makes you better.
Absolutely. Clearview is on the field now. We're starting a little bit ahead of schedule on this Friday afternoon. I don't mind it at all. We'll take a quick break. It's Washington Township and Clearview coming up on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting after the break. One. Josh Jurgen, your pitcher for the Pioneers this afternoon, a 26 and a third innings for him, 10 walks, 35 Ks. He's got a sub-1 in both ERA and WHIP, a 0.8 ERA and a 0.87 WHIP. He has only allowed just 15 hits this season so far, so he has been quite the arm for the Pioneers as he'll face off against the 7-5 Washington Township Minutemen, led by Bob Kelly. Your starting lineup presented by Harper Driving School. Giovanni Cristinzio bats first in second base. Peyton Andre is your pitcher, batting second. Andrew Robinson, the shortstop, batting third. Luke McKenty, the Rowan commit, at first base batting cleanup. We'll get the rest of the lineup after the first pitch, which is high, and we are underway.
And Dan, what a great day to play baseball. This is just great weather at a great field, and just exciting and glad to be here.
68 degrees at first pitch, 3:59 time of the first pitch as that one's lined foul down the left field line. Rest of the lineup for Bob Kelly and the Minutemen. It'll be Josh Lynch in center field batting fifth. Antonio Causarano, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Dom DeNoble, the multi-sport athlete, in right field batting seventh. Luke Sedgwick is your left fielder, batting eighth. And Brandon Fiscani is your 9 hitter here for Washington Township. 1-1 from Jurgen. Breaking ball misses inside.
And a lot of people say the key to a game can be your first batter up, and what he's able to do. If he can work the pitcher, he can make sure that there's a lot of pitches thrown before the bat is done.
This ball's hit well, but it's going to go foul down the left field line over towards the concrete in the JV field. And it's 1-2.
Being the first time I've been here at Clearview, what a field. This is better than some college fields that I've been to.
Yeah, from what I've been told by Clearview, by Nick Core, and by Athletic Director Stephen Assay, is that this field used to be the junior varsity field where it was just kind of played off the side of the hill. As that one moves inside, Jurgen trying to control that breaking ball. Count is full, but the field behind us, which is where JV will be played very shortly, that used to be the varsity field as recently as 10 years ago, and then they moved it to here. They did renovations, and they put up the brick wall in the outfield along with the snow fence. As this one's popped up, not playable at third, and that'll go foul. So the count remains 3-2, and Crescenzio working Josh Jurgen to the brink in the very first batter of the game.
Well, I'll tell you, they did a wonderful job in sitting up out here in the outfield. It's like being at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, for the folks watching at home, this is the closest thing we have to a professional camera angle. It's elevated and just over the pitcher's shoulder. It's a ground ball. Sawyer Wood boots it. That ball goes into shallow left center field. Crescenzio rounds first. He'll stop there, and that will be, I don't know, Fred. I think I would score that an error. It just didn't look all that clean to me.
Yeah, my concept always is if it's a routine play and you don't make the play, it's an error. And that definitely was a routine play. And life for Washington Township if they can put something together here.
Especially considering they lost 9-3 to Clearview in their first meeting of the season back on April the 16th. So here's Peyton Andre, batting .375 as a junior, 5'10", 170. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 12 for 32 all told, as that first pitch breaking ball drops in 0-1. He batted .407 as a sophomore in his first season at the varsity level, a career .395 hitter.
College coaches are looking for the fact that a pitcher can have mastery over 3 pitches, and one has to be an off speed. That was a nice curveball thrown by Clearview pitcher.
That one gets away. That's going to get behind their backstop, and Crescenzio will go to second base. He'll take a turn, and he'll stop there. But a wild pitch assessed to Ian Markison. Alex Munzenberger and Markison have been splitting the job behind the plate for Clearview this year. We were told that on Saturday, the 25th, Munzenberger caught Delsey, the Coaches versus Cancer Classic in Margate, which it brought another slate of teams into the down in Atlantic County there for a great weekend of baseball. This ball's fouled back off the alumni sign, the brand new alumni sign for the 2016 team, and it's 1-2.
And Dan, is it still the same way when you said the cutoff for the Diamond was this week? Is it still the way that the person who's leading the standings gets the first choice for bids?
I'm honestly not sure. I just know that they release a poll every week and that the coaches vote on it. You also have to remember that the Diamond starting last year expanded to 32, so it was 16, then it was 24, and I think it'll peak out at 32. That ball was put in play. Andre just got it in front of the box, and that barely stayed in play. It was picked up by Marcus, and that'll be a 2-3 ground out to the catcher. It moves Crescenzio to third, and that's the first out of the ball game for the number 3 hitter for Township, in Andrew Robinson.
And if you're Washington Township, you got what you wanted. You moved the runner to third base. He's now 90 feet away from the first run of the game.
And again, when you've already played a team and you've already lost to a team, you know that revenge is on the table, and there's a lot of emotions on the line. You really want to get the party started early and get this offense in a groove, especially off of a pitcher with a sub-1 ERA like Jurgen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't know who pitched the first time, but a lot of times coaches don't want to pitch the same pitcher as they used the first time because they'll have a book on them already.
Yeah, I think I would say you'd absolutely be right in that regard. That loss to Clearview sent them to 4-4 as a fly ball to shallow right field. Cardiel going in. He'll make the catch. Runner does not tag. How about that for a shallow throw? He rocketed that one to home. The runner held, but on that shallow fly ball, Cardiel got all the way almost up to the dirt of the infield, and he made the catch to hold the runner. That's a strong arm.
That is exactly right, and also where he was really made it not a good choice for this descendant runner because I think he would have been out at the plate. But 2 outs now, and now a single or base hit is going to take to score the run.
Here's Luke McKenty, the commit to Rowan, the senior, who we saw last year in the first round of the Group 4 playoffs. It was the first time, honestly, in a while that we had done a 16v1 game, and that was a game where Cherokee beat Township 6-2. But McKenty, for what it's worth, as the 16 seed, was pretty admirable for Washington Township this season. Even though he's not pitching today, he has a 1.4 ERA in 20 innings with 25 strikeouts. That's second on the team behind Quentin Myers, as there's a strike called, and it's 0-2.
And I'll get a lot of chance to see Mr. McKenty next year, and it's also good for him in the fact that Rowan's first baseman is a senior playing his last year.
Yeah, McKenty, that would be or pardon, your first baseman.
Nick Struble.
Nick Struble. I was blanking on the name, but there's a swing and a miss. So Jurgen picks up the strikeout, and he strands the runner after a leadoff error. Washington Township puts a runner on third base, but records no hits as they leave the first run of the game 90 feet away. We go to the bottom of the first here in Mullica Hill. It's no score. Junior Peyton Andre is your pitcher for Washington Township. He comes in with 14 and a third innings, 7 walks, 14 Ks, 2.44 ERA, and a 1.32 whip for the Minutemen. As we said, this is his second season at the varsity level, but his first as a pitcher. He did not appear on the mound during his sophomore year, even though he was a full-time infielder. For Clearview, led by third-year head coach Nick Core, they're wearing their Mullica Hill jerseys today. If you look on your screen there, it's a black top with the white text in the style of the Phillies City Connect, and it just says Hill across the front of it. Their starting lineup, presented by Harper Driving School. Sawyer Wood is the junior shortstop leading off. Luke Yeager, the freshman, bats second at third base. Dom Abate, the commit to Camden County College, is third at second base. Pat Jurgen is your cleanup man at first base. Ian Markison, your catcher, batting fifth. Ben Doney, the DH, bats sixth. It's Ryan Batista in center field, batting seventh. Chase Cardeal is in left field, batting eighth. And Connor O'Mara, the right fielder, batting ninth. Your pitcher, as we saw in the top half of the first, Josh Jurgen. But Andre getting ready to go. As you saw those alumni flags over home plate, there's one for 2016 and one for 2021. Those were the 2 years that Clearview has won sectional championships. They both won it in the Group 4 circuit, although they now compete in Group 3. And they beat Millville back in 2016 to win that title. Both times they lost in the state semi, but a sectional championship is still very much worth it. So in the bottom of the first inning, we'll get led off with Sawyer Wood. He committed an error in the field, but he'll try to get some redemption. He did homer when we saw Clearview last versus Audubon back on March the 31st, so he's got that going for him.
And it'd be nice to get something started. We have a pretty good crowd coming in today to get this game, and a lot of people up with us in the outfield because this is a great location to watch the game.
Yeah, where the folks at home are seeing the camera, that's more or less where we cover the game from. So it really is a wonderful place to cover a ball game. And again, what you're seeing from the camera is more or less our view as well, just a little bit zoomed in. So it's there's a reason why a lot of people like to pack the outfield out here. As the 1-0, Wood pops it up, first base. McKenty's got a play, and he'll make the catch. Back over his shoulder. Not the easiest play to make for a first baseman, but it's out number one. And the batter will now be Luke Yeager.
And Dan almost in the point where he was the only one who could make the play. Usually you have the second baseman try to come over and get an angle on it, or the right fielder come in, but McKenty was the only one who could make that play, and he did a really nice job.
So Yeager, the batter, one of the top freshmen right now in South Jersey, really in any realm. He has been fantastic so far this year for the Pioneers. For Yeager, first of all, we saw him throw a 5-inning complete game in the Mercy Rule win over Audubon back on March the 31st, but he's batting .410 as a freshman. Already has been putting the ball in play, to say the least. And he's got 9 RBIs, 6 extra base hits, 16 for 39, and then, as we said, a 3.07 ERA on the mound. He last pitched on Wednesday versus Shalleck, so we will not see him on the mound this afternoon. Andre, changeup, called a strike, and that'll be out number 2.
And a real nice off-speed pitch on that. Just froze Yeager on that pitch. And we were saying Yeager is a freshman now. He will suddenly now be on every college's radar. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Especially considering that you've got about 2 years to develop film on the guy before you can even, by NCAA rules, even contact him. So you're going to have a lot of information. Coaches, I think a misconception that people have is that coaches will only know who you are if they're contacting you, and that's not the case at all. Really, coaches, from the time that you're a freshman, from the time they can contact you, they will know who you are if you're a solid ball player, and you will be noticed. So even if you aren't maybe doing too well as a freshman, they might have an eye on you for your projectability, or if you're doing really well as a freshman, they will certainly have an eye on you for your current ability. Andre, the 1-1, low and inside.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I think the last time we talked about the NCAA looking at some eligibility changes and the 5-year rule from the time he graduated from high school, I know that'll face legal challenges. We're told that there's a chance it'll never happen, but it would dramatically change baseball.
Ground ball to second base, picked up. Throw to first is in time by Fakari, and the inning is over. So a clean first for both sides as they're kept off the scoreboard. This game's looking a lot like Wednesday already, but we're only 1 inning into the books. Through 1 here in Mullica Hill, it's the Minutemen and the Pioneers knotted up 0 apiece. To end the day for Luke Pokrovsky. Little pop-up, first base side, he calls for it, and for the first time in 33 years, the Shalleck Cougars will hoist the trophy and face Middlesex on Monday. 4-3, Cougars win it. And in the battle of green and gold, the trophy stays true with the visitors. What a finish! And Shalleck will pack their bags for Middlesex and the Blue Jays when the weekend turns around to Monday. Welcome back from Mullica Hill here at Clearview Regional High School. It is affectionately named The Bog, and maybe there's a good and bad reason as to why. We're told that when it rains here, sometimes it literally turns into like a bog, like a marshland back behind home plate, as this field, the field that these guys are playing on is technically underground at one point or another, but it'll be ball 1 inside to lead off the top of the second inning for Josh Lynch, the center fielder, as Lynch gives this one a ride to left field. This one got a bad step. It'll stay in the ballpark. It'll hit off the top and over the wall. It'll be a ground rule double. That took a very weird bounce. It ended up going off the grass and then off the wall. It literally skimmed off the top and then went over. So it's one of the things about the snow fence out in left field, really the snow fence that encompasses the entire outfield, but it's a leadoff ground rule double for Josh Lynch, and this is going to bring up Antonio Causarano, the designated hitter, hitting in the 6th slot here for Township.
So we had a question was made to the umpires where the runner was at the time of the ground rule double, but it really doesn't matter because a ground rule double is a ground rule double.
Yeah, so. It is. It's not like a ball that was thrown away in play where you'd have to worry about. If he was on first base, he would have advanced 2 bases to third. But that's not how ground rule doubles work. It's if the ball is hit off the bat and there's no further action, it didn't hit anybody's glove either. It just hit off the ground and then hit off the top of the fence. So it's a very clean ground rule double. Causarano takes low.
And one thing we saw, Dan, is how well the ball carried. And that ball,
Absolutely.
I think, even fooled the left fielder at the beginning of the time where he broke in on a step, and then all of a sudden the ball just kept carrying and almost cleared the fence.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it definitely throws a lot of people off how the ball carries here, but there are a decent amount of home runs hitting this ballpark. And it's not an easy park for a pitcher. Because also the outfield isn't all that deep either. I think it's only about 350, 360 to center field, and even then, it doesn't look like that because we're looking at the field from the top down.
And Dan, I'm also looking at the trees behind the backstop, and that makes it very difficult for the outfielder to pick the ball up initially.
It's that depth of field.
Yeah,
that messes
it
you
goes
up.
from darkness into light, and especially if it's a high sky like it is today, a lot of things can happen on a pop-up, that's for sure.
So Lynch with the double. The batter is Causarano in the 6th slot. This ball's hit well, right field. Going back, O'Mara, he won't have a play. This will hit off the bottom of the wall. Green light from Bob Kelly. Coming in is Lynch. He will score without contest. And it's a RBI double for Washington Township on a 3-0 pitch out to right field. And the Minutemen lead this one 1-0.
Yeah, pretty interesting that he was given the green light on a 3-0. And, boy, he really took advantage of it because it was a pitch right down the heart of the plate just to get that automatic strike. And Washington Township strikes first.
So 1-0 Minutemen here in the top of the 2nd inning. Batter for the Minutemen will be Dom DeNoble. Strike called. DeNoble batting .303 as a senior, 10 for 33, 6 RBIs, 4 extra base hits. Career .333 hitter after hitting .381 as a junior. Also plays boys basketball for the Minutemen.
And if you're DeNoble right now, you just want to advance that runner to third because there's nobody out. If you put him into 90 feet away, you can get that 2-0 lead, which would be so helpful to your cause.
Yeah, putting the ball in play is really going to be a big deal here for for Washington Township. They're just going to have to figure out the best way to mitigate the waters here because you know that Clearview's offense is going to be good, but at the same time, Washington Township is throwing arguably one of their best pitchers. You know, if not the best, probably top 2 or 3, because you do have Quentin Myers, you do have Luke McKenty. They are all good, but Washington Township has prided themselves on very good pitching this year. That one's low. It's going to skip away. Markison doesn't see it. Now the runner's rounding third, and now Markison in a scramble goes to pick it up. He was bewildered as to where that ball was, and rounding third was Causarano as he was almost ready to break for home. Jurgen had to point to where the ball was, and he ends up saving it, but it ends up being a wild pitch no matter how you slice it.
And that's where the dugout really helps. Because your dugout, you have to get your coaches and players to yell to the catcher exactly where the ball is because you can get lost very easily.
That is a good get back that time as a swing and a miss is out number 1 after the back-to-back doubles. Causarano on third, DeNoble strikes out, and the batter will now be Sedgwick, the sophomore.
So you're down 8th in the lineup. It might be a really interesting situation where you could actually squeeze right here.
Good point. Could see something happen here, but I don't know. I mean, Bob Kelly is kind of an old school coach. Here you go. It's popped up, but it'll go foul. And unfortunately, once you do it once, the cat's kind of out of the bag.
Yeah, that's for sure. But very good play. It's a very aggressive play. It wasn't going to be a safety squeeze because he was coming. So there was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was either going to be a run, a double play, or an out at the plate.
0-1 to Sedgwick, Luke Sedgwick, the sophomore. 0-1, he could get a run either way as this one's floated, but foul down the right field line. That would have been a very nice way to extend the lead with a drop single, but it's 0-2 now.
And in a game like this, every run is important. There is no lead safe. I will agree with that. Both teams have the ability to come back at any time. But every run you can plate is to your advantage.
Bob Kelly, as we said, he's been the head coach of this program since 2018. Since Bill Alvaro resigned, he's now at the crosstown rival Kingsway. Very likely he will reach 500 wins this year.
Been fortunate to see a lot of college baseball this time, and I've been seeing a lot of former Kingsway players in the Division III ranks, which is very interesting to see.
This ball skied foul, and it'll remain 1-2. But Kelly's been involved with this Washington Township program for upwards of 15 years. In fact, literally 15 years. He's been an assistant. He was an assistant from 2011 to 2017, and then, as we said, when Alvaro stepped down to go to Kingsway in 2018, he took over, and he's been the head coach for the last 8 years. Ground ball. This should score a run. No, they're going to throw to the plate, and they do score a run anyway. Wood threw it away. Now Sedgwick's going to go to second base, and that's going to make it 2-0 Washington Township. And how about that for a turn of events? A bad throw. Wood short hop the plate, and that now makes it a 2-0 Minutemen lead.
And it was interesting to see because the infield was back. So usually when the ball's hit on the ground, that you're going to send a runner. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But hey, sometimes all the best plans don't work.
We now go to the 9th man in the order as Sedgwick gets to second. And still only one out in the inning. That's the worst part of it all, is that it's only, you didn't even get any out there. There were two ways to get an out. You either give up the run and you get the out at first, or you go for the marbles and you throw them out at home. In this case, you got neither. And now, how would you score that?
I'm going to score it a fielder's choice.
Okay.
And he advances to second on the error by the shortstop.
That's what I was thinking. And it gets Sedgwick to second as it scores Casarano. Only one out for Fasani.
We had a guy the other day come up in a play similar to that, and he said, "Oh, it should be a sacrifice." I said, "No. Sacrifice is only when you give yourself up."
Right. One ball, one strike. And one away, and a 2-0 Minutemen lead here at Clearview. Now he'll drop a bunt. This one's popped up, but it'll go back behind the fence, and it's 1-2 part.
It's becoming more and more of a lost art in baseball for bunting, and I think it's such a great weapon. But you got to take that bat, you got to hold it at your belt level, and if it's above it, you let it go, and you don't try to hold it at an angle like we just saw there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, this is the number 9 hitter in Fasari. Jurgen looked back at second. Fielders were not holding the bag all that close, and it's 2-2. But Jurgen, after having a 0.8 ERA going into this game, first of all, the first run that was scored is earned, but the second one will be unearned because of the throwing error. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jurgen delivers. Fastball fouled straight back. Still 2-2.
Dan, Washington Township has a great youth program. They turn out a lot of great players. The only most difficult thing sometimes for Washington Township is the Catholic schools come after them too.
Yeah.
So Gloucester Catholic or St. Augustine or Bishop Eustace, they all go after Washington Township players.
Well, Washington Township is also so big. It's a lot like Gloucester Township, in where there's multiple high schools that encompass the area. As a fly ball to right field. This is going to be a tough play. He's not going to get there. Gets over the head of O'Mara. Coming from third, he'll come in Sedgwick. That's going to be an RBI double. It's 3 hits, 3 doubles. Oh, my. And Washington Township, with the bottom of the order, gets the job done. A 5, 6, and 9 hitter all get extra bases, and the Minutemen now lead 3-0. And now, with only 1 out in the inning, Nick Core is going to come out and talk to his man, Josh Jurgen.
Well, I think he's got to settle him down.
Absolutely.
I mean, definitely in that situation. They were 3 really, really well-hit balls. And it was interesting for us to see because I thought the outfielder did a pretty good job because he turned his back to run. He almost made the catch. And that's tough when you're trying to make a catch over your shoulder in that situation. But, boy, Washington Township really taking advantage, like you said, at the bottom half of the lineup.
Yeah, I've definitely been surprised so far at how Washington Township has done. But also, they only won 8 games last year, and now they're 7-5. They certainly are turning a corner. We'll take a look at the stats and the Washington Township hanging on their man. That's some impressive strength there to get on top of that fence. But we'll go back to the top of the order here. We'll take a look at the Tri-County Royal standings. As it goes right now, Clearview has the best overall record. They are second in divisional record. Gloucester Catholic, to the surprise of not many, lead that one. They're 12-3. Clearview's 11-2. Kingsway is 11-3. And then Williamstown 8-5. GCIT 8-6. Washington Township 7-5. They'll throw back to second. Holding closely at the bag was Dama Bate, but no play.
And Dan, if I'm not wrong, I think Clearview is ranked 15th in the state. So
they are.
And there's some very good baseball teams around this year. I mean, Governor Livingston went undefeated, finally lost a game, but
they've lost 3 games this year.
How about that? I remember you were telling me they lost the first one, and it was the first time they had lost in like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, they went 28-0 in 2025, won the Group 2 state championship, first undefeated team in New Jersey since 2007 Don Bosco Prep, as that one moves inside. 2-0 here to the leadoff man in Crescenzio, who is already the 6th batter of the inning for Washington Township, and there's only 1 out in the inning, and that was via a strikeout to Dom DeNoble. Washington Township is certainly not making it easy for Josh Jurgen. There's a 2-0. That catches the zone, 2-1.
And that's for sure. Momentum right now is on the side of the Minutemen. Good things have been happening to them on every at bat, but it's a 7-inning baseball game, and it's only the 2nd inning, so a lot of things can take place.
2 balls, 1 strike. In that Township dugout, supporting their batter here. They've got a runner on second base, and that fastball just misses up and out, 3-1. Yeah, Washington Township last year went 8-16, 1-9 in the Tri-County Royal, and then they were 15-15 in 2024. So last year was a bit of a step back. They were the 16 seed in Group 4, but played admirably versus Cherokee, lost the game 6-2. This one's popped up. First base side, running out of room, and it's out of play. 3-2 now.
And Rowan's very fortunate. They were able to pick up a player off that Cherokee team in Brett Chiesa, who's really become a very good college player.
Yeah, so many guys from the 2025 Cherokee team have done well in their first few seasons in college. Henry Radbill has gotten several starts at Rutgers. Brett Gable has had some valuable playing time at Harvard. It's always difficult to pick up and get a beat on Ivy League baseball because they do play a different schedule than everybody else. That one's high, and that's ball 4 to Giovanni Crescenzio. So 2 runners on, 1 away, and just nothing but trouble right now here for Clearview.
Yeah, Clearview needs something good to happen. They just need to get out of this inning with the damage already done and keep it at 3 runs and then get your chance to bat.
So here's Peyton Andre. No better chance to help your own cause as a 300 batting average hitter. And Andre fouls it back. The commotion you're hearing is that a gentleman from the JV team just hit a home run out of the ballpark.
The fields are nice and close here. If you need to call somebody up, it's not a long run.
It's a lot different than it was at Audubon. I don't know if they played.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if back when you were the AD, they still played JV at the Mount Ephraim field behind,
That's exactly
behind the
where
car
we did.
wash. Yeah, they still do it.
You have to run around the lake to get there.
And when I went to Audubon, when we did all their games, about once a week we would get, somebody in their car rolls down their window. Is this where the JV game is? And I'm like, nope, it's across town. The 1-1, 2 on. Andre takes outside.
I can tell you, Dan, there was a couple times I had the golf cart and I got the message from Rich Horan to run over to the Mount Ephraim field and get a player.
Oh. 2 balls, 1 strike. here in the top of the second inning. Two balls, one strike to the pitcher, Peyton Andre, the junior. And that's a strike called. 2-2.
Another thing bearing watching will be interesting to see. This has been a long inning for Washington Township. Your pitcher will probably be 25 minutes from their last pitch in the first inning to when they're pitching in the second inning, and that can change your rhythm and that can change your intensity level.
And there's still only one out, except for now as Andre goes down swinging. That's out number 2.
And a big out for Clearview. Huge out. They can see the way now out of the inning and hold it to just 3 runs and then say, guys, it's time to bat and time to score.
Yeah, no better time to start a comeback than now. But they got to get out of this inning first as Andrew Robinson is your hitter.
He flew out the right field in that very, very interesting play that almost ended up in the infield.
Strike called to Robinson. Yeah, you're right. That was a very shallow fly ball to Connor O'Mara. And threw the ball a little bit wide, but he had a cannon of an arm. If he had played that ball in straightaway right, he would have still made it to home plate. As it's 0-1. Clearview, after a clean first, will bat 4, 5, and 6, starting off with Pat Jurgen, as that one
we had
time called.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I've said it before, that's the right thing to do as a pitcher, is to not disrupt your motion, because that could do a lot more damage than you would expect. And a lot of guys don't realize it, but that's how it's supposed to be, or at least I should say that's how it is that you really, once you start that motion, you really should continue with that motion.
Too many opportunities for an injury, that's for sure.
Oh, of course. No balls, 2 strikes. Looking to get out of the jam and limit the damage to 3 runs. This ball's skied by Andrew Robinson to shallow right. The triangle is there, and O'Mara makes the catch to end the inning. 3 runs come across for Washington Township as a part of a 3-hit, 3-run brigade that sends 7 men to the plate. We go to the bottom of the second inning here in Mullica Hill. It's the Minutemen 3 and the Pioneers 0. After a very long top of the second, we're in the bottom of the second. Washington Township leads it 3-0, 4, 5, and 6 for the Pioneers. Pat Jurgen, Ian Markison, and Ben Doney, excuse me. That ball
and a big inning for Clearview. It's early in the game. I think they just need to score a run and say, hey, Washington Township, we can score 2, so be prepared.
Skips in 1-1. Tomorrow, tune in on our friends over at the HSG Network as we will cover the WFA, the Women's Football Association, for, yes, women's tackle football. It'll be a 5 o'clock start in Northeast Philadelphia between the Tri-State Warriors and the Philadelphia Phantoms. I'll be on the call with Joseph Pagan at 5 p.m. from Philadelphia. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
And as a former football coach, that's got to be an interesting occasion.
Well, listen, I mean, we have our own opinions about flag football, but they've been around for a few years now. They have a pretty strong. It's mostly regional, so probably from all East Coast. But there's teams in Georgia, teams in Tennessee, Ohio.
That's pretty interesting.
And I'm very glad to work with Howard and HSG Network to bring a part of that to everybody here this weekend. We originally had Steinert and Northern Burlington scheduled. We're going to skip out on that. We're going to get another Northern Burlington game later in the season. That one is low.
You know, we always said girls can play high school football because if there's no equivalent sport, they're allowed to play in the boys' sport.
Right.
We always said if a girl was a running back and she was running around the end and you were the linebacker, what would you do? And most of the linebackers said, level her.
3-2. Jurgen swings and misses. That's second strikeout for Andre. Now, I'm curious when you say that because there's no equivalent sport,
right.
Now that flag football is more than likely going to be officially sanctioned by the NJSIAA, if that is going to go out the window now.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's still legal for a girl to play baseball in New Jersey. Even though
there was a girl from Glen Ridge that just did it. Yeah.
Even though there's an equivalent in softball. So I would bet that they can still do it.
I would say as well that is a byproduct of the fact that baseball and softball are not inherently the same game.
True.
Even though the fundamentals are there, the structure is the same, you have different rules when you get deeper into it that change the dynamic of the game as that one's up and in.
Yeah, I read the article about the girl that you were just mentioning.
I think it's either Glen Ridge or somewhere up north, yeah.
And she says she feels more comfortable playing baseball than softball.
2-1. Swing and a miss. Good drop there by Andre to get Ian Markison. Counts 2-2. But Andre right now looks like he's settling in, and he got a gift from this Township offense, which that's called run support in the bottom half of the order. That's not easy. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Peyton Andre. And that's out number 2. So that'll bring up the number 6 hitter in Ben Doney.
And probably what impresses me the most right now is after like that 25-minute top of the inning, whatever, he stayed in his rhythm. And
it's like he never left.
Come right out, he shows no, because usually pitchers struggle after that because their routine has gone.
Doney batting .286, 2 for 7. Had 25 at-bats last year, but only 7 this year. He's appeared in 5 games. He appeared and had an RBI in Clearview's first game versus Washington Township. In that game where Clearview won 9-3, all 3 of Township's runs were also in 1 inning. In their case, it was the 3rd. As Doney skies this one out toward shallow right field. McKenty going over. It'll instead be dropped, but it is a foul ball. And now shaken up after taking a hard fall is their right fielder in DeNoble. He's going to get up, but I think he had to take a second to catch his breath because he overran the ball, and then for one reason or another, just he overran it and then he dropped it. But I think he might have also fallen on the clay down the line, which is not forgiving.
And as a former right fielder, I can tell you, it's difficult picking up the ball with a high sky and that background and a little bit of wind.
He's going to get another shot, though, as this ball is hit in play, and that's going to be a fair ball. It hits off the bottom of the wall, and DeNoble, you talk about the high sky, he misread it, and he'll pay for it with a double by Ben Doney.
Very difficult, that situation. It's hard when the ball because suddenly gets hits to you again. But now Clearview's got a chance. If they can just get this run home and say they don't need 3 runs in this inning. All they need is a chip away.
So runner on second with 2 outs as Andre gives up his first hit of the game after he went 1-2-3 in the first. Batter will now be Ryan Batista. Batista takes low, 1-0.
And a little challenging moment here for our pitcher because he thought he possibly could be out of the inning, and now he has to face another batter.
Batista, 1-0. Strike called. Batista batting .227 this year, 5 for 22. 3 RBIs, 5 walks, and 6 stolen bases. He is tied in a three-way tie for second in stolen bases. Wood, Batista, and Damabate all have 6. The team leader is Andrew Prawn, who is not in the lineup today, with 8. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball outside. That's John Galante behind the plate. I was joking with John before the game because he texted me. He said, "Where are you going tomorrow?" And I said, "Washington Township and Clearview." And he said, "You cannot believe it. I think this is the 6th game that we have had together with him being either behind the plate or in the field." Jack Whitcraft is your umpire in the field. And the 2-1. Andre looks back. Shortstop Robinson holding him. And a ground ball foul over towards first base, and it's 2-2.
And I've been very impressed with Galante as a home plate umpire. He's very consistent. His strike zone stays the same in the first inning and the 7th inning, and that really helps pitchers and it helps batters and coaches to know exactly what to expect.
And I think that coaches appreciate an umpire that's consistent, even if they might disagree with the size of the zone or disagree with where pitches are being placed. You can't really argue if he's calling it the same way every single time.
Exactly correct.
The 2-2, Andre delivers outside. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was going to say, as an old pitching guy, I can tell you that when the first pitch you threw at the corner, if he called it a strike, you then moved the pitch out about 3 inches to see if he would call a strike there. And once you learn where that zone is, then you can lock right on in.
And you test the waters. That's what's great.
Yeah,
and that's one of the disadvantages of having a bullpen game here at the high school level, is that if you do, you don't really get a chance to be in the game long enough to really find out that zone. You're only going to get 20 to 25 pitches, and if you get more than that, you're probably getting yanked from the game. So
that's happening more and more times in college now, because conference games are being played on the weekend, and when you play a non-league, you don't want to use up one of your starting pitchers for that conference, so you do a bullpen game and you're pitching 2 innings.
Exactly. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner on second after Doney had the double, the DH, and this ball skied into straightaway right field. DeNoble with a chance for redemption, and he will make the catch to retire the side. He keeps the Pioneers off the board. A scoreless second inning for Peyton Andre. We'll go to the top of the 3rd inning here in Mullica Hill. The score, Washington Township 3, Clearview 0. Welcome back here from Clearview. It was great to talk to Drew Ryback, the former pitcher for Clearview, and of course, Fred, you got to know him from Rowan University, so
yeah,
a lot
what
of
a great
connections
pitcher.
over there.
He was as tough as they came. I kid him too. He also worked fast, so it was always quick games. But he was a guy that you wanted in a big game to be on the mound, and that says a lot about the character and the temperament that he had as a pitcher.
Oh, of course, and to see a program really come to appreciate a pitcher for that long, and as we were talking to Drew Ryback about, was again the culture here at Clearview. It's not. Listen, it's not as much of a small town as Audubon or Haddon Heights or Haddonfield or even down here in the Gloucester County areas like a Pittman or a Glassboro or a Clayton, but you still get that team bonding and you still get that team friendship and relationship that you guys that every high school team strives to have.
Yeah, we had Trip McCaffrey, who played at center, played in the outfield for us at Rowan. I'll tell you what I always noticed: that when we got a Clearview kid, they were ready to play. They were ready to play at the next level, and that's a tremendous thing. And they were also very, very good teammates. Always good teammates.
No balls, 2 strikes. Peyton Andre working quickly here as won't get that one on the outside corner. He's been doing pretty well though versus a team that beat the Minutemen by 6 when they met 2 weeks ago, 9-3. He's now had 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. And Andre, the junior, has been doing it on both sides of the plate this year for the Minutemen. That one misses inside. No, called strike 3. Just on the inside half of the plate. I jumped the gun a little bit, but Cardeal is down on strikes for the first out. It'll be the 9-batter Connor O'Mara.
And I'll tell you, Dan, when Drew was talking about chemistry, people don't realize how important that is in the game.
Of course.
When you're all playing for each other, you're all pulling for each other, and you're all trying to help each other, it just makes everything so much more fun and easier.
1-0 to O'Mara, the right fielder in the 9 slot for Clearview. This season batting .321, 9 for 28, has 8 RBI. He's yet to hit an extra base hit this year, but he's gotten the job done. He's a career .264 hitter, and he has hit safely in his last 5 games consecutively. Has not had a hitless game since April the 13th versus Gloucester Catholic, which was not the prettiest game for Clearview. Their 2 losses this year. One was to GCIT on April the 1st. They lost 5-4 at home, and that was a part of a 5-run 5th inning for the Cheetahs. And their second loss was also at home versus Gloucester Catholic, which was a 16-1 loss. And again, Clearview beat GC in regular season play last year at least once. They played them 3 times, once in the Diamond, and of course twice as division rivals in the regular season. So it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And 2-2 is floated foul. But my point is that sometimes because you lose by 15 one game doesn't mean that GC's going to put up 16 runs the next game, especially depending on who you throw.
And that's what we always said to everybody. You might win 16-1 in game number 1. The next game starts 0-0.
Of course.
So good teams find a way to get the job done.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. That's 5 strikeouts for Peyton Andre as he gets O'Mara swinging, and we'll go to the top of the order for Sawyer Wood. The shortstop popped out to first base in his first at bat. Clearview right now riding a 6-game winning streak. They beat Haddonfield 3-2, Washington Township 9-3, EHT 12-0, Delsey 5-1, Gloucester Tech 6-0, and they beat Shallock yesterday 6-2. So just like yesterday, we did Eastern and Rancocas Valley, and for Eastern, that was the 3rd game of 3 days in a row. They had played Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. This is a back-to-back for Clearview. Their next game will be Monday the 4th at home versus Vineland.
And you got to see one of the people that I really like, Rob Christ.
Yes.
Who we did football games together for GCEN many a year, and he's just an outstanding baseball coach. Really does a good job.
And very well spoken, too. Of course, he's
an English teacher. He better be.
Yeah, he better be, right? Strike called. And I would also say as well, he's just one of the most personable, down-to-earth people that I have gotten to meet here in South Jersey. And, of course, his work in broadcasting, he spent time with the New York Yankees organization as a minor league broadcaster down in Single A. And then he got to go home. He got to have the best of both worlds. He got to be an English teacher, and he also got to be a baseball coach and a broadcaster for Comcast Channel 5. As Peyton Andre strikes out the side, takes care of 8, 9, and 1. He's now struck out a half-dozen batters here in the ball game. We go to the top of the fourth. Washington Township leads 3-0. One. 3-0 Washington Township. Still no movement since the top of the second inning here on DWB as a strike is called.
So it was very, very nice hearing from Drew Ryback. As I told you, he was one of the best I had. But I also got a good story for you when we got some time of a Washington Township player.
Well, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. You can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. Count is 0-2 for Township in the top of the fourth. It'll be 7, 8, 9, leading off with DeNoble, who struck out his first at bat, and he'll go down again. So 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And that is out number 1, and it is strikeout number 5. Strikeout number 6 for Josh Jurgen. So 2 pitchers really going at it with a lot of swings and misses. Josh Jurgen now with 6 strikeouts. He struck out McKenty twice, Andre, Lynch, and DeNoble. And what else am I missing? So that one's going to miss inside, but 6 strikeouts for him, 6 for Peyton Andre, and we're only in the top of the fourth inning here.
So here's my Washington Township
Go ahead.
story.
Floor is yours, sir.
My favorite Washington Township player, you will definitely know, and he's not coaching baseball. He's coaching football. It was Mike Schatzman.
Okay, yeah.
And Mike played for Gloucester County College. He played on the national championship team.
Was that when Mike Dixon was the head coach?
Mike Dixon was the head coach. It was 2010. He was the designated hitter. He could play any position on the field, and he could bat anywhere on the batting lineup. And he was just such a chemistry guy. And I used to kid him because I said, you bleed red, white, and blue, and that's what he probably did. He's done a great job with the football program.
Yeah, they just won a state championship last year. Had a fantastic season for them, 12-0. As Jurgen set the 2-1. This ball's skied in the shallow. This is actually going to stay in the infield. Wood calls for it, and he'll make the catch. That's out number 2. But, yeah, Mike Schatzman's done a great job over at Washington Township.
He sure has. And I was able to talk to also the first baseman on that team in 2010 is Dave Prager.
Right.
And Dave Prager is the coach at Deptford. So, who, by the way, when I always see him, when a fly ball, a pop-up was hit the first base, he could never catch it. So.
Well, I don't think Prager is the head coach at Deptford.
Is that right?
Unless you mean baseball.
Baseball. Head baseball.
I'm sorry,
coach.
I thought you meant football. I apologize.
No, baseball.
Yeah,
I don't think
no,
he
I
ever
know.
played football, but he was a heck of a baseball player.
We were on the
Sure.
page of Mike Schatzman. I thought we were
Yeah,
talking about
that's
football.
exactly
No, he is
right.
the head coach of baseball, but
No, you
batter
told
is
me who the
Fasani.
New Deptford head coach is.
Yeah, Montre Wright
Yes.
is 0-1 from Jurgen. Drops in for a breaking ball. Jurgen has just such great command, and I'm really liking how he's rebounded from the second inning, because when you give up 3 runs, it really is hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I got this, I'm ready to settle down, and he's done that very well. It's the 0-2. Lined out to right. That one's foul.
And that's a very good point. That is exactly right. Yeah. The damage was done that inning, and now he's settled down, and he's given Clearview a chance to get back in the game.
It's 0-2. That ball went deep into the trees. I feel bad for whichever freshman is tasked with getting that baseball, as it's 0-2 to Fasani. Grounder right back up the middle, out to second base on the run. Throw is in time. He got him. Dom Abate, the Camden County commit. He'll get that one from inside the infield grass, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Clearview looking to get on the board. Their bats have been quiet, but they can definitely get loud with just a couple of swings, knowing the Pioneers. 3-0 going to the bottom of the 4th on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Bottom of the 4th inning here from Mullica Hill. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Fred Swartz of Rowan University here in Mullica Hill. It is a beautiful, it's a windy day, but that's every day here at Clearview, as the strike is called. It feels like every game that we've ever done here, there's always some kind of wind that makes it a little bit cooler, but it's just a great day to be here in Mullica Hill, as that ball is laced into center field. That'll be a base hit. Dropping in front of the grass, picked up by Lynch. And a leadoff single for the Pioneers.
And if you're really looking at, this could be the inning for the Pioneers, because they're setting up 2, 3, and 4. Number 2 gets a hit to start off, and now you want to score at least 1 run this inning, maybe 2.
And that is from the freshman Luke Yeager, who got the base hit. He threw 5 innings versus Audubon back on March the 31st. First game we did for Clearview this year, as there's a strike called, 0-1. Dom Abate grounded out to second base in his first at bat. But for Clearview, that's just their second hit of the game. Throw back to first, unsuccessful. They had a double by Doney in the second inning, but they've been held off the board. Peyton Andry has done very well in these first 3 innings. 6 strikeouts, just 2 hits, and no other base runners for the Pioneers. 0-1 is outside. 1-1.
Baseball has its ups and downs, twists and turns.
Ebbs and flows. Absolutely. No, you're right. I mean, it's a game that'll humble you in a million ways. And
in a heartbeat.
for Washington Township, they're only 1-5 in divisional play, but all of their losses have come in their division. So if you want to look at it from a different perspective, they're 1-5 in the division, but you can also say that they're 6-0 when they're playing a team outside of their division.
And that's a very good point, and it just shows you that they know how to win, and that's important. They can beat you even if you have a better record.
And to that point, as the 2-1 is fouled back, 2-2. They beat Timber Creek on opening day, 13-8. They topped Deptford, CCTS, Camden Charter, West Deptford, and Atlantic Tech. So out of those 6, CCTS and Camden Charter are independents. They both won those games by double digits. Those are 2. You've got 2 Tri-County Liberty, Timber Creek, and Deptford, and then the other 2, West Deptford and ACIT. West Deptford Colonial, ACIT, which I believe was their senior day of the Cape Atlantic. But ACIT is doing pretty good this year as well. Only won 5 games last year, and now they're 10-4. So
yeah, that's a pretty good improvement, that's for sure.
But that will help for sure when you move down a division, because they were in the Cape Atlantic National. They got moved to the United because the Cape Atlantic does this kind of promotion relegation where if you're the last team in the National, you move down to the United. If you're the best team in the United, you get moved up. That's what happened in Middle Township. They were the division winner of the United. I believe 2 years in a row they got moved up to the National, and they swapped places with Atlantic
and
Tech.
a lot of conferences are doing that, and I think that's
I like
really good. Yeah, me too.
Andre, the 3-2 to abate. Runner goes. This one's inside, so it won't matter. Ball 4. And it'll put 2 runners on, and the tying run will come to the plate and Pat Jurgen. So full count turns into ball 4, and Peyton Andre dealing with his first.
Okay, Dan, here's where it becomes interesting.
Of the night.
First 2 batters on. In old school baseball that I played, you'd be bunting to get the runners on the second and third, but you got the number 4 hitter up.
Yeah.
Who can hit the ball. So why not go for the big inning?
Yeah, why not go for the big swing? You know, it's not like it's the 6th or the 7th where you're in desperation mode. I think that these guys still have plenty of chances to get on the board. And really a great time to do it here with Pat Jurgen. First pitch, he will drop a bunt. This one goes out towards the pitcher. Throw to first is in time. It's a successful sacrifice. So there's your old school baseball, Fred. It moves everybody up,
Boy,
and Pat Jurgen gives himself up.
Yeah, I really like it. That's advance the base runners, put yourself in a situation to score runs. That's very, very good baseball by Clearview. And I'm glad to see the bench for Clearview congratulating the Jurgen on that one, because he gave himself up to give hope for the team, and that's what you should do.
And Ian Markison is your batter here with 2 runners in scoring position. 1 out. You're from Clearview Regional High School in Mullica Hill. Just about 65 degrees today as a strike right down the pipe. It's 0-1. So Markison 0 for 1. He struck out in his first at bat. For Washington Township, their games after today, they'll take the weekend off. Obviously, like we said, for the Diamond Classic, I think teams are leaving a lot more wiggle room for this week, because games can start on Tuesday and they must be completed by Thursday the 7th. Second round will be played at a neutral site on May the 9th. The quarterfinals, May the 16th, and semifinals same day. Finals on the 19th at Alcyon Park in Pittman. Time is called. A baseball from the JV game found its way onto the field. Left fielder had to pick that one up.
And always a difficult decision now for coaches, because the Diamond is very prestigious, but so is winning the conference, and so is the state championships that will be coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, this season feels like it's flying by already. This is the first day of May, and this is our 23rd high school baseball game of the season. There's a swing and a foul tip. Nope. Yeah, they're gonna say it didn't hit the glove, so it's 0-2.
So a big batter here for Washington Township's pitcher. If he can get the out, he can see his way out of the inning.
For sure. He'll have to find his way to get out of the jam. 2 runners on. Clearview looking for their first runs. 0-2, misses high.
Infielders playing back, so they're conceding the run on a ground ball hit in the infield. They'll trade an out for just 1 run.
If you ask me, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think playing conservative here is not the worst thing in the world, especially when you're up by 3. A ground ball, this one sliding stop at third, pump fake, throw to first in time. It does score the run, and the Pioneers are on the board, but a great diving stop by the third baseman over at the hot corner. That saves an out. That could have gotten through in the outfield, but Fasani gets the job done. It's out number 2, and the Pioneers are on the board. It's 3-1.
And missed on that. That's exactly right. That would have been a 2-run single. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And he was able to hold the runner at second and keep him there, and that may make a big difference now with 2 outs.
Now here's Ben Doney. He doubled for Clearview's first hit of the game back in the 2nd inning. He's dealing with a runner in scoring position and 2 away. Andre, the first pitch. That one's low. For next week on DWB, on Monday, we'll be over in Pennsauken for BCSL baseball with the Patriot Division champions. Pennsauken hosting the Bordentown Scotties at 3:45. It's our 2nd time seeing Pennsauken this year. I mean, they have been one of the most shocking teams, if not the most shocking team in South Jersey. They won 2 games last year, 2-14, and now are 11-1. They're playing Northern Burlington today. That's their biggest test yet in non-division play. Shortstop and second base just frantically scrambled away from the bag as that one misses inside. They were both trying to draw a throw from Andre. Robinson and then their second baseman Sedgwick over there. Pardon, Crescenzio.
Usually on that one, if they're going to make a move, it's a time play used by maybe a foot movement or the catcher signals it to who's going to get it to shortstop or the second baseman.
Yeah, because Andre can't be looking back at second base the whole time as he steps off very late
and
there.
Sometimes it happens. You can get so preoccupied with the runner, you forget that the most important thing, you got 2 outs, is to get the batter out.
Absolutely. That runner on second does not play as much of a role right now. I honestly wouldn't even try throwing over to him if you ask me. I mean, if you get him home, you get him home, but it is what it is. You have to worry about the batter at hand. And
also, Dan, when you got both the infielders like that moving, if then it takes them out of position for a short period of time and a better chance to find a hole for a hit.
Yeah, the more gaps that you create, the more likely it is that something's going to get through, especially for a Clearview team that hits very fundamental baseball. You know, ball gets hit in the air, but a lot of line drives, a lot of very solid contact. And they know how to hit the ball very well. Second baseman still looking over, and that will be strike called, 2-2. So if the inning continues, the batter would be Batista, but if not, in the top of the 5th, it'll be 1, 2, and 3, Crescenzio, Andre, and Robinson as the Minutemen look to extend their lead. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 away and a run home for the Pioneers. Andre looks back, infielders separate again. They're going to say it hit him on the elbow, or at least somewhere close to that. That's a hit by pitch, and it barely grazed Ben Doney, but it was enough. And Washington Township's catcher having a quick conversation. Now Bob Kelly's coming out. I think he's going to ask the home plate umpire, John Galante, to check with his base umpire to see if the ball, or rather if the batter leaned into it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. It could be that
or not making an effort to move.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So now this becomes a crucial situation for both teams. Clearview can get right back in the game here with a single, and Washington Township can leave with as little damage as possible.
Yeah, again, that's John Galante behind the plate. Jack Whitcraft is your base umpire. 2 on, 2 out, tying run on base, and it's Ryan Batista facing Peyton Andre really in his first bout of adversity tonight. First pitch sinker, called a strike, 0-1.
It's Dan, the New Jersey Athletic Conference were Rowan and those who played. They went to 3 umpires this year. the reason they went for that is with a 2-umpire game, you can be shielded in so many different situations.
Right. Very good point. And you also really can't have a 3-umpire game without having the amount of umpires to supply that for the whole conference.
Yeah, that's a big problem for especially high school baseball. Because now there's so many things they want to do with shot clock in lacrosse, they want to do with shot clock in basketball, and all that is more money that's going to be spent by the athletic department. So,
and who's that going to hurt the most? The small schools.
Yeah,
especially the
no
ones
doubt.
without a lot of funding. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The batter is Batista. Cardiel on deck. Robinson egging on his pitcher for a throw. With a big lead, the 0-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. 7 strikeouts for Peyton Andre. He is fired up, and he gets out of the jam with his 7th of the night. Clearview gets a run home on an RBI ground out off the bat of A. and Markison, but through 4, it's the Minutemen 3 and the Pioneers 1.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal.
Top of the 5th inning, 3-1 Washington Township. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Fred Swartz. Our schedule for next week on DWB. Again, Wednesday and Thursday are open at this time because of the Diamond Classic. We don't really know where we're going to be. Same with Saturday the 9th. We have no idea where we are going to be. But the first batter of the 5th will be Chris Donato, as that's going to be up and in, 2-0. Again, Monday will be Bordentown and Pennsauken. Tuesday will be more Tri-County Royal baseball with Williamstown and Gloucester Catholic. Wednesday, Thursday, again up in the air. Friday, we'll be down at Maxwell Field in our first of 2 games with a partnership with Wildwood High School. They'll be facing off against the Pleasantville Greyhounds. Next year, that will be a conference game, but this year, Wildwood in their last season in the Tri-County. This will be one of 2 non-conference games as a fly ball to right center. That's going to split between center and right. Trouble out there as O'Mara, and now Batista slipping on his horse. He couldn't get up off the grass. The throw to third is high. A triple for Giovanni Cristinato. And it gets Washington Township a little bit of life here after they are looking for their first run since the 2nd inning. And they get it started, and now the attention turns to the shortstop, who on the relay, he's gone down in a heap.
And Dan, that scared the daylights out of me because we had the right fielder and the center fielder both going full blast. Neither one called, and all I could see
didn't hear anything.
All I could see was a massive collision.
Yeah, that is.
We had that happen in Rowan when Trip McCaffrey was the center fielder, and we had a 6'5" out right fielder that played at Gloucester County College, and it came down to Rowan, and they hit together, and McCaffrey never moved.
Sorry to interrupt. That's Dama Bate who is down. Clearview's trainer is there. Bob Kelly, the Washington Township head coach, also came out to check on him. Good act of sportsmanship. Nick Core as well out there. It looks like could be something of a cramp because he is stretching his right leg, and with this delay. Again, Washington Township will have a runner on third, but you see a lot of these in football. You don't see it as much in baseball. He could have pulled something as he was bringing in the ball for the relay, as, again, that ball split right between the center and right field gap.
So we'll know really quickly if it was a hamstring, because that's becoming so common now in sports, but it looks like he's going to be fine, and I'm really happy for that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like we said, we see that happen a lot more in football, but in baseball, it's certainly a scary sight as well. But also great sportsmanship by Bob Kelly coming out from the third base side from Washington Township. I mean, he came out to check on Dom Abate, and Clearview's athletic trainer still talking to him now, making sure that he's good to stay in the game. He'll give him a pat on the back, and he'll put his hat and glove back on, and he'll remain in the ball game.
And that's great to see. And you're right, class shows.
Of course.
And that's very impressive.
So as everybody gets ready to resume after the triple by Cristanito, it'll be Peyton Andre, the batter.
And Dan, it also shows you the role that athletic trainers play in these games. They do such a great job of prevention of injuries, when they take care of injuries, and the game has gotten so much better at the high school level because of having certified athletic trainers.
Yeah, I think that honestly there were a lot more. First of all, I would say there were a lot more very harsh and very career-defining injuries back in the older generations because people didn't know how to condition properly. People didn't really know how to take care of their bodies. As this ball gets right through the 5-hole, the first baseman, Jurgen, and the run will score. That ball was a soft hit down the first base line. Jurgen was unable to get a reel on it. The ball went out to the shallow grass in right field, and a run scores as Peyton Andre with a seeing eye. I don't know what that would be. I don't think it hit his glove. I think it just went straight through him. So that would have to be an RBI single then, and they're going to have a courtesy runner for Andre as it's now 4-1 Washington Township.
And that was key because I don't believe they were sending the runner at third.
No, I don't think they were planning on it because that was a short grounder to first base. That would have been very difficult to get that runner across if that was the case. So Andre with his first hit of the game, and no better way to help your own cause than in a big spot like that, as the batter will now be Andrew Robinson, the shortstop. Robinson 0 for 2, 2 flyouts as a swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
A good game and the other team had a bad game, you could have a blowout.
For sure.
If both teams played well, you had a classic. If both teams played poorly, somebody was going to win, and you're going to be happy when the game was over.
So the runner at second base. 4-1 Township here in the top of the fifth as this ball skied right field by McKenty. This is going to split the gap in right center. Rounding third, Miller comes in. They're going to say it's trapped under the wall. And Luke McKenty is going to have a ground rule double here. This Washington Township team, what a game it's been for them. Now 5-1. And only one out in the inning.
Glad to see he's going to Rowan, but, I mean, he really got a hold of that ball, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely can do stuff at both sides of the plate. He is committed as a pitcher.
Yeah, that's the interesting situation that happens. Some of the shortstops that are in high school end up becoming pitchers in college just because that's their better position.
And to add to your point, at Rowan specifically, Nick Watson. He went to Pittman High School, played both ways, but he was primarily a shortstop in his time there. Now, he only spent 1 year at Pittman, or it was either 1 year or 2 years.
Okay.
But he was a transfer from St. Augustine and didn't really get a lot of playing time in Richland, so he decided to come up and play at Pittman. And in that way, he ended up getting a chance to play at Rowan after hitting 7 home runs in his senior year. And funny enough,
that's interesting.
He hasn't gotten an at-bat at Rowan.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's now
exactly
their
right.
de facto closer. 1 away, runner on second, 2 more runs home for the Minutemen. It's the 0-1. Both fouled back. Out
So
towards
you.
So 5-1 Township lead.
But 3 more bats coming up for Clearview.
And that's always another chance, if you will. It's always another opportunity. Misses that time.
When you have the kind of record that Clearview has, you know you have people that know how to come from behind. You know you have people that can produce in clutch situations. So that's why you always consider yourself having a chance.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, top of the 5th. That one is up and in. That's 3-2. So he was ahead in the count. Now he's behind. And the count is now full.
It's a good famous axiom in sports that say winners never think about losing. They always think they can win.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner in scoring position, and a fly ball foul again. This will be pitch number 8 of the at-bat to Causarano. Dom DeNoble in the 7 circle would be next. For Clearview in the bottom of the 5th, it would be 8, 9, and 1, Cardeal, O'Mara, and Wood. And unfortunately for them, Peyton Andre's already faced that exact 3-piece earlier in the game, and he struck them all out. 7 strikeouts for Andre, 7 for Yeager. Pardon, for Jurgen. And there's 8. So he gets the swing and miss to end the frame, but Washington Township puts up 2 more runs on an RBI single by Peyton Andre and an RBI double by the Rowan commit, Luke McKenty. The Minutemen lead by 4 over the Pioneers, going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Welcome back. This broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. Their next event coming up tomorrow, this Saturday, at Pinelands Regional High School in Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey. For more information, for ticketing, and for their website, visit dawgprowrestling.com. Ball missed inside to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Chase Cardeal, Connor O'Mara, Sawyer Wood, 8, 9, and 1. So, Peyton Andre, as a junior, 7 strikeouts for the right-hander as a strike is called.
And Dan, I think a big inning for Clearview. I think Clearview needs to score. They need to get some runs to get to feel good about themselves and know they have a chance to come back.
Absolutely. I think that this is going to be very difficult to replicate more than once. You know, if you're Clearview, the best time to strike is when you're facing a pitcher who is about to go through his third rotation in the order.
Correct.
You know, if you wait until the sixth inning, you're facing a fresh arm who is riding on, you know, not necessarily coattails, but on the premise of Washington Township upsetting Clearview.
Correct.
2 balls, 1 strike. One's a strike called, 2-2.
Yeah, the longer you keep the underdog in the game, or the underdog stays in the game, the more confidence they get. So this is when you got to get them to start doubting themselves.
It's really a mind game, if you ask me.
It
That's
is.
all baseball is. And there's strikeout number 8 for Peyton Andre. Both starting pitchers, 8 strikeouts here in their starts. As even though with the 4-run deficit, this might be at the end of the day for Josh Jurgen. I mean, Peyton Andre, I don't know how many pitches he's at, but he can't be that high up because he's gotten really quick at bats.
What's the max you can do?
For one game, it's 110. It's 150 across a 5-day span.
Okay.
So the best way I could explain it is that let's say you're playing 3 games in a week, Monday to Wednesday and Friday, let's say. If you pitch 40 pitches on Monday, you would be eligible to pitch in Wednesday's game. If you threw 60 pitches, you would have 100, and you would technically you'd be able to throw a maximum of 50 pitches, even though that's not what the rest bracket really shows. It's that's the way I've run with it. That's the best explanation that I can give.
That makes
But
a lot of sense.
For a single game, it's 110. Across a 5-day span, it's 150.
And responsibility for charting the pitches, is it on the umpires or is it on the coaches?
Believe it's on the coaches, and I believe if there's a discrepancy, they work it out as it goes. Because the umpires do track the pitches, but they're kind of acting as a neutral arbitrator, if you will, in the middle of it. Washington Township, after losing to Clearview 9-3 in the first contest between these two teams, for a team that only won 8 games last year, is on the cusp. They're 8 outs away from getting a big win over the number 15 team in the state. We'll take a look after this pitch of the top 20 teams that are represented, or I should say the South Jersey teams that are represented in the top 20 statewide poll. It's a high chopper in the infield. Robinson gets it at the chest, not in time at first base. He'll get in there. It's an infield single for Connor O'Mara, and the number 9 hitter does his job and sends us to the top of the order for Sawyer Wood.
And that was a tough play because it was a big hop.
Yeah, very tough play as well, and I think that also plays into where Clearview is on the diamond. I think that they kind of know their home field better than anybody else, and I think that O'Mara had the confidence to know that ball was going to bounce well on the infield grass.
So now you've turned the lineup over, and we're back up to the top. So this could be a good opportunity for the Pioneers to put something together here.
The last time Washington Township beat Clearview was on May the 6th, 2024. They lost both times to Clearview in 2025, but both teams were relatively equals. This one's laced to center field. This one's over the head. Couldn't get a play in center field for Lynch. On his way to third is O'Mara. Stopping at second is Sawyer Wood. It's his first hit of the day. It's a 1-out double, and Clearview's got 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 outs.
And Dan, that was
1 out.
That was a blast. That was to the deepest part of the ballpark, and he just really lit up into that. Here comes the opportunity. 1 out. Let's see what Clearview can do to make out of this.
Luke Yeager, the freshman, chance to chip into this deficit. He's got 1 for 2, strikeout in the first inning, singled in the 4th. Swing and a miss. As we were saying earlier, though, Washington Township, they lost to Clearview both times. Both 3 runs or less, 6-3 in their first game, 5-4 in their second meeting. but Township topped Clearview both times. Now, to be fair, in 2024, Township and Clearview had the same amount of wins. That was Nick Core's first year, and they really – Nick Core's first year, we talked about it on the South Jersey Starting 9 podcast, they had a rough start. They were 2-7 as of April 24th of that year, and they were 4-9 going into the month of May, but they riffed off 8 wins in they riffed off we got a balk. Run scores. A balk is called on the pitcher Andre. He's trying to plead his case, and the umpires are going to talk it over. John Galante was the one who signaled the balk.
So usually on that, it could be that he broke his hands after he went into the set.
And Bob Kelly's going to ask for an explanation as well.
He's got to wait until the 2 umpires talk it over.
Yeah, they're going to ask.
It's a big play.
For sure, and this changes a lot. But Kelly standing on the left side of your screen, out of play. But, yeah, as of now, like we said, the umpires in today's game, John Galante behind the plate, Jack Whitcraft. That balk will stand. So Kelly is going to
get least a decision,
he's at least going to ask why. If he can't get them to change their minds, he's at least going to ask why. And he'll walk away with a runner on third now and a run scored, making it a 5-2 game. That changes a lot. But only the littlest of motions can change things, and dare I say that could really disrupt Peyton Andre's rhythm, because he's now going to be overthinking a lot of his motions, thinking that maybe it could be a balk, maybe this could be a bad motion. I think that really a balk is something that, while necessary, it is something that I have seen throw off pitchers more times than not, and it affects them in the long term if they get one called.
And that's a good point. The only thing I think that he's done, which is really smart with the runner on third, is he's gone to the windup instead of working out of the stretch, which he had to do when there was runners on second and third.
Yeager with a 2-1 count. Here from Mullica Hill, Clearview Regional High School. The game so far, Clearview gets a run back. It's 5-2. And this ball skied deep to left center field straight away. Who's going to call for it? It drops! Drops between Lynch and DeNoble. Run scores to second base. A miscommunication in left center. And the Pioneers get a run back. It's 5-3. So a run scores on a balk, and then that ball, I believe, hit one of the gloves. And if it did, that's an error. Runner gets to second base, and it's now a 2-run game, and Bob Kelly, or pardon, their pitching coach, is going to come out and talk to Peyton Andre, as the 4th inning was the inning where he gave up the 1 run, and we're now seeing, I think, Peyton Andre start to run out of gas here.
Well, it's possible. I think the biggest thing he's going out now is to calm him down, because he had the balk situation, which you said is very unnerving, and then the second thing he has, what he thinks is going to be an out in the outfield, turn into a double or a 2-base error, one of the two.
And listen, that play was the fault of the left and center fielder. Really, nobody in the infield could do anything about that fly ball.
Correct.
So I think that they're consoling Andre to say, hey, listen, you know, our teammates didn't really back you up, but, you know, you just got to do the best you can and focus on focus on, you know, attacking the batter and, you know, maybe not even worry about the runners on.
It's happened. Let's get out of it. Let's get back, and we'll bat again in the 6th inning.
Absolutely. The batter for the Pioneers will be Dom Abate, the commit to Camden County College. Tying run. Strike called.
Has got the tying run at the plate.
2 runs have come across, 1 on a balk and another on that play that sent the runner, Luke Yeager, to second base. Abate spent several years here at Clearview. He's established a very strong presence here as a utility man. Really can play any position, anytime. Takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-2. For Abate, he's a career .278 hitter. 11 hits as a junior, 12 as a senior so far, batting .343 in the 2026 season. And and has 1 home run this year, 6 stolen bases. The 1 ball, 2 strikes to abate. And we were talking about that Clearview team from 2024. They did play, Washington Township beat them twice. They beat them 7-5 in May and 12-5 as a part of Clearview's bad stretch to open up their year in mid-April that season. And again, that was after Anthony Reagan stepped down from his position. Nick Coru, of course, himself is a Gloucester Catholic grad in the late 2000s, class of 2008, played at Fairleigh Dickinson, the Division III. Or actually, I'm not sure if FDU was a Division I at the time. I know they are in basketball. I don't know if they are in...
Well, the FDU Florham Park is 3, and the FDU Teaneck is 1.
Okay, I would definitely have to check, but he was a solid ball player nonetheless, considering that he hit 6th for that 08 Gloucester Catholic team. It's a ground ball out to second base. It'll move the runner over, waits for the ball to come to his chest. Bang, bang play at first, but he'll get the out. Crescenzio gets it nonetheless. It's a difficult play. It's out number 2, but what I can tell you about that was he waited for that ball. He didn't really charge it. He waited for that ball to bounce up, went right to his chest. I guess he was anticipating a bad hop. He predicted it well, but busting it out of the box was a bait. He was very close to getting on first base there, but he does move the runner to third.
So, Dan, this may be our first key moment of the game. We got a runner on third and 2 outs. If Clearview can get that run, it's a 1-run ball game.
Strike called outside corner. 0-1 to Jurgen. Pat Jurgen, the first baseman. So after the 4-3 ground out, there's been 3 hits in this inning. 2 runs across for the Pioneers, trailing deep off of third. But how about that? So Luke Yeager took maybe 5 or 6 steps off of third base, but because the third baseman wasn't holding him back at the bag, there was no way for his catcher to make a back pick. He just kind of knew the scope of the situation. And I think he also knows that if the catcher back picks and the ball gets away, he scores. Like, he's almost halfway up the line, but he fouls it back and it's 1-2.
And you know what? And that's very understandable at that point because he's getting a good lead. Sometimes when you're the catcher and you get so much adrenaline into you and you make that quick throw down to third, it goes in left field and the run scores.
Yeah, especially with the pressure on the line. That may not be a risk that they are willing to cross right now. As that one's away, looking back over at third, but no play.
I mean, the only way to control that right now is to tell the pitcher to go out of the stretch. And if he goes out of the stretch, then that'll curtail the runner from getting that far down the line.
And, of course, Yeager, he definitely having some guts for that move because he's a freshman, but this team seems to have taught him well. Here's the 2-2. Outside. No, strike 3 called. Side retired. That is strikeout number 8 strikeout number 9 now for Peyton Andre. 5 innings for him, and even though he's given up 2 runs, he still has this game in his control. We go to the top of the 6th inning. It's Washington Township 5, Clearview 3.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Top of the 6th inning. A new arm for the Pioneers here in the top of the 6th inning. The new arm for the Pioneers is number 12 in Braden Cook, who comes into the game. He relieves Josh Jurgen, who had a very strong performance this season going into today's start, but while he hasn't been bad, he just hasn't really had the same spark. He gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned, and as we said, he exits the game with 8 strikeouts and a handful of hits. But Cook comes into the game to relieve him as it's a strike called, 1-1. For Cook, who is a junior, class of 2027. 188 at the plate, on the mound, an 11.12 ERA. So looking to get those numbers down. But his stuff looks good so far as it's 2-1.
And if you're Clearview, this becomes like a hold situation. You want this pitcher to come in. You want him to be able to keep them from scoring and give yourself a chance to get runs in the 6th inning, take the lead, and win the game.
5 2/3 for Cook this year as he golfs this one. It's low, out to the mound. Throw to first is in time. Great play to skip off the mound for Braden Cook, using that athleticism to fire one down to first, and there's one away. But for Cook, 5 2/3 innings for him this year, 9 earned runs, 11 hits, 6 walks, 10 Ks, and an 11.12 ERA for him as a pitcher this season.
And I'm going to give some kudos to the first base umpire. He's had a few bang-bang plays and been very emphatic on his calls and hasn't been challenged.
I apologize. For Cook, those numbers that I just riffed off were from last season. This is his first appearance of the year on the mound. But it's 1-0 as he gets the first out. So, yeah, last year's out the window then if that's the case. He was a sophomore then. Last year in his appearances on the mound, he appeared in 6 games. His best outing was 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 versus Paul VI, a 12-5 win. He seemed like he was more of a mop-up guy as a sophomore, but on May the 1st, he's getting his first appearance of the year, and he's got a good fastball for what it's worth. Looks good out of the hand, but he's back in a 2-1 count here to Sedgwick.
If you're Clearview's coach, you just say, get me 6 outs. 5 now.
Right. And at the very least, get him 3.
Exactly.
It's because if Clearview comes closer into this game, if they put in 1 or get the game tied up, or even if they take the lead, you can put in your closer. 3 balls, 1 strike to Sedgwick, the sophomore. He's 0 for 2, and he'll foul this one back. It's 3-2. As we said for Clearview, going back to their 2024 season, the year where they won 15 games, they won in the month of May, they won 9 of their last 11 games. They lost 1 to Washington Township, and then they tied Northern Burlington, which people didn't really know at the time that they were going to be the stars that they ended up being, winning the state championship in 2025. But they tied versus them, and then we were here for their first-round playoff game versus Highland. They were a 6 seed. They beat Highland. They went on the road to beat Mainland, and then they lost by 12 runs to Shawnee in the sectional semifinal. Funny enough, though, in that semifinal, they were also the home team because Shawnee was the 7th seed in that year's bracket. Showing bunt but pulling back is Fasani. It's 1-0.
Dan, you were saying before South Jersey teams in the top 20.
Yes.
Who are they?
Let's take a look at them right now. That's on the right side of your screen. Gloucester Catholic is number 2. Northern Burlington is number 7. For what it's worth, I should have checked, but I'm pretty sure Del Barton is listed as the number 1 team in the entire state. But now showing bunt, this one's going to get down. Out in front of the mound, throw to first is in time. A successful sacrifice at the bottom of the order. But bringing that graphic back up again, moving to second base is Sedgwick. It's St. Augustine 9, Cherry Hill West 10, Bishop Eustace 14, Clearview 15, and Eastern 16. Now, Eastern had 2 big losses this week, so I don't think that they're going to be ranked top 20 after today. After this week, because we saw them on Tuesday and Thursday, and they lost both games to Bishop Eustace, which is a number 14 team, and Rancocas Valley, which is 9-5. So,
are we getting close to the state cutoff?
That would be the 17th, which would be 2 Sundays from now. Is a nice catch made down the right field line. Pat Jurgen brought that one in, and it's a scoreless frame for Cook. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Clearview on the ropes. It's a 2-run game. Welcome back. Bottom of the 6th inning. It's Washington Township 5, Clearview 3. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I'm Dan Wilkins here with Fred Swartz as Peyton Andre still on the mound here for the 6th inning. He fires a strike to start.
And I think this is a big setup inning, for Clearview. If they can get a run or tie the game or maybe even take the lead, I think the game completely changes.
1 ball, 1 strike. Markison leads us off. It's Markison, Doney, and Batista, 5, 6, and 7. Washington Township was held off the board in the 6th with a relief inning from Braden Cook. And Washington Township does have an arm warming up. Can't tell who it is, though, as that one misses. It's a left-hander, and it is number 21, which we'll give you that name in just a second. That would be Jake DeBlasio, the sophomore. And again, he's a southpaw. So he could pitch the 7th or even the 6th if Andre gets out of control. 3-1. Markison 0 for 2, but he does have a run as that ground out in the 4th inning contributed Clearview's first run of the game. And that was their only run of the 4th. They were scoreless through innings 1, 2, and 3. Has a ground ball out to Robinson. He'll pick it up. Good shift, good throw, and it's in time Just a fundamental play over at short, and Robinson gets the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
Boy, truer words have never been said. Good fundamental play, because getting the first out of an inning is really, really important. And that was a nice play by Robinson at shortstop.
And being able to put yourself in that winning position where, I mean, you really can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, that's exactly right to the target.
Here is Ben Doney. He had the first hit of the game for Clearview back in the 2nd inning. It was a double. Great crowd on hand here for Alumni Day at Clearview Regional. The 2 banners up behind home plate. Don't know if they're going to stay there for the whole season, but they are at least up for today. It's the 2 sectional championships that Clearview has won, 2016 and 2021. And obviously Clearview will be looking for a 3rd under Nick Core, who has spent his time at many different places throughout South Jersey. He recently picked up his 100th win back earlier in April, as the strike is called.
And unless your name is Gloucester Catholic, people don't realize how hard it is to win a state title.
Right.
I mean, everything has to be working well for you, and you have to stay relatively injury-free.
Yeah, this is Core's 4th stop before he got to 100 wins. He's been a little bit everywhere as the 2-strike pitch is low. Appeal to first, says no. So the catch, somebody appealed to first. The first base umpire said no. Then the catcher didn't see the appeal, so he tagged the batter out anyway and then asked for an appeal again. And the umpire was like, I already made the call. No swing. He didn't see it. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Doney. Ryan Batista, the center fielder, on deck. Andre, the 2-2. This ball skied into straightaway center field. Now to go to right field, and DeNoble is there.
Yeah, great
that is now
catch.
Miller in right field.
That was a pretty good catch, because when the ball's been up in the air today, we've seen about everything happen.
Yeah, it's really a toss-up as to what can happen.
Well, the high sky and the backdrop really play into the whole situation.
Yeah, we've mentioned that before, but we'll see if it plays a role today. I mean, it already has, but if it plays a role in the later stretch, is Andre looking to complete 6 innings of work. His last task of the 6th would be Ryan Batista, as they'll take that one outside. For Nick Core, he was a head coach at Lower Cape May in 2015 and 16, spent 1 year at Pennsgrove in 2016, and then St. Joe's Hamilton 2021 and 2022. So he has coached in 2 different conferences for 4 different teams. And this is, without a doubt, his most successful venture yet. With Lower Cape May, right now they're not doing too hot. They're 3-10 with Ryan Slaney. Pennsgrove hasn't had a good year in a couple years now, and St. Joe's Hamilton has been back and forth. I think they're right now sitting around 500. As there's a strike called.
Well, what's missed a lot in high school baseball, high school sports, but is the coach is really a prisoner of the talent that's there.
That's true.
It's not like you can go out if you need a shortstop and recruit a shortstop.
Well, in our case, he was at St. Joe's Hamilton for 2 years,
he
so
could
you
do that.
could do that.
Yep.
But a ground ball by Batista. High bounce, but
Wow.
the second baseman fielded it perfectly, and the inning is over. That's why he waited back. He was fully expecting that ball to bounce, and he played it very well. Well, Washington Township will need some insurance, but Clearview can't be too thrilled with how they did in the 6th inning as they go down 1-2-3. Peyton Andre, 6 innings. We'll go to the 7th here in Mullica Hill, 5-3 Township. Braden Cook starts the 7th. You were talking about getting a clean 6 outs, and Nick Core agrees because he's out for the 7th inning in his first pitching appearance of the year. Ball misses high.
And it's interesting, not that Clearview would want this to happen, but I'd almost want Peyton Andrick to get a hit so he has to run the bases and it might tire him down.
Well, they can also courtesy run him, so that would kind of take that out of the equation.
That takes that option away.
1 ball, 2 strikes. It is Andre, Robinson, and McKenty, 2, 3, and 4 for Washington Township in the top of the 7th inning, looking for their first win over Clearview since 2024, which doesn't feel like that long ago, but after losing to the Pioneers both times last year and losing 9-3 in the team's first meeting 2 weeks ago, the dynamics have most certainly shifted here in Mullica Hill as Clearview looks to avoid their 3rd loss of the year. Andre gets jammed, but takes a step forward out to right field. It's taken in. It's out number 1 as O'Mara brings it down, and the pitcher is retired. But again, we could very well see Jake de Blasio pitch the 7th. I can't really see, with a game being this close, seeing Peyton Andre go for a complete game. I think that with Washington Township, they don't play until Monday versus GCIT. I really just don't see a world where Bob Kelly and company take that risk. I think that they're going to go 6 innings from Andre and then let Jake de Blasio take over for the 7th inning. That would be, I think, the smart decision.
And I agree with that.
Robinson takes a strike.
But you know, a pitcher always wants to finish the game.
True. But at the high school level, you don't have as much of a say as you would in college in major leagues. You know, CC Sabathia was able to, or maybe it was CC Sabathia or Andy Pettit when they were with the Yankees. Joe Torre came out of the dugout with like 2 outs in the 8th inning to pull him from the game, and he literally waved his glove to shoo him away. You can only do that when you're making $20 million a year.
That's
you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that when the guy that's pulling you from the game is also the guy that passes you in physical education class. You know,
that's a good point.
I'm just saying you don't have any leeway. There's strike 3. Strikeout for Cook, his 2nd out of the bullpen, and Robinson is retired for out number 2.
So if Clearview is able to rally and win the game in the 7th inning, you've got to give a lot of credit to Cook because he's done exactly what was needed to keep the game exactly where it is right now.
And this is also big because, I mean, listen, I don't mean to blow up the term upset, but Washington Township, even though they're 7-5, they are still leading here versus the number 15 team in the state and one of only 7 teams in South Jersey to be in the top 20 in the state rankings. So it's very interesting as this ball's popped up sky high to left field down the line. Who's got a chase? It's foul. That one just got out of play, and in a ballpark with more room, they could have had that, but instead, it'll be 1-1.
And you're right. For a team like Washington Township, this can be a high point. This can be a turnaround point. It can be a fact that we've played a very, very good Clearview team, and if we can beat them, well, we can be just like them.
For sure. 1 ball, 1 strike to McKenty. 1 for 2. Had an RBI double back in that 5th inning. Gave Washington Township some insurance. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looks like the JV game just wrapped up as there's a swing and a miss. And this game may not be too long from wrapping up either as a swing and a miss retires the side. Cook with 3 Ks out of the bullpen, and Clearview is going to have to rally if they want to avoid an upset to Washington Township. They'll bat 8-9-1. Cardeal, O'Mara, and Sawyer Wood when we return. Could be last swings here for Clearview in the bottom of the 7th inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. New pitcher is Jake DeBlasio, the sophomore left-hander, 3.68 ERA. Last year as a freshman, he surprised a lot of people. He had 12 innings of all shutout baseball. No runs earned or unearned. He struck out 9 batters in that stretch, but this year, a 3.68 ERA. He's already got 19 innings under his belt, 3 walks, 22 Ks, and he's had work out of the bullpen and starting work as he's had 2 out of his 5 appearances of 5 innings or more. His best appearance for sure, 2 earned runs, 5 2/3, 8 strikeouts versus Timber Creek back on opening day. As DeBlasio faces Chase Cardeal as a strike is called to open up the 9th inning.
And Dan, this is what baseball's all about. Pressure situation on both sides, and anything can happen and probably will.
For sure. Anything. Oh, that one missed well outside. You could see that was a curveball that just didn't curve, and it really just hung out to dry on the opposite side of the box.
And I'll stand by what I say all the time. Getting the leadoff batter on is probably the most important thing you'll do.
Especially with 8, 9, and 1, as there's a foul tip. That was either a foul tip or it was a swing and a miss, and it popped out of the glove. Either way, it's 1 and 2. Andre did not come back into the game as a fielder, which honestly, after how good he did, I think he deserves a rest. He struck out 9, only gave up 5 hits, gave up 2 earned runs, and only walked 1 batter. So he has earned an opportunity to sit at the top of the township dugout and watch his team while he rests, as it's 2 and 2 now. Cardeal 0 for 2. He struck out twice. He's looking to avoid a third. DeBlasio, 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him.
Boy, big out for Washington Township right there.
That strikeout gives DeBlasio the first out of the inning, and we go to the 9-hitter Connor O'Mara. Now O'Mara in the 5th, he singled and came around to score on Sawyer Wood's RBI double. And he'll bat now in the 9 slot here with 1 away. Strike called at the letters. Clearview with a loss would fall to 11 and 3. Their next game would be Monday versus Vineland. This is game 2 of a 4-game set, if you will, 4-game homestand. They played Shalleck yesterday, won 6-2. They'll play Vineland on Monday, Kingsway on Tuesday, and then they'll go on the road to Gloucester Catholic on Thursday the 7th, and then on the road to St. Joe's Hamilton, Nick Corr's former coaching spot, on Friday the 8th. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. 2 down. Huge strikeouts for Jake DeBlasio. And now Sawyer Wood could be the last chance for Clearview here in the 7th inning.
And DeBlasio's done the right thing. He's been throwing strikes.
For sure.
You throw strikes, that gives you a great chance.
He has made this a breeze.
As Yogi Berra once said, it's never over till it's over. Or was it the fat lady sings?
Well, I don't know. Either way, it's still not over as the first pitch is a strike called. Getting the job done. For Washington Township, a win would bring them to 8 and 6. They host GCIT on Tuesday, on the road versus Kingsway on Thursday, and they'll have a doubleheader. They'll play in the Lee Ware tournament at Woodstown. There's a strike called, 0-2. That 4-team tournament consists of Woodstown, Camden Catholic, Washington Township, and Cherry Hill East. No balls, 2 strikes. DeBlasio looking to shut down the number 15 team in the state of New Jersey. The 0-2. Fly ball popped up shallow towards third base. Fikari goes over. He'll make the catch. And the Minutemen can celebrate on the road with an upset victory over the Clearview Pioneers by a final score of 5-3. The Pioneers tried to come back during the middle innings of this one, but it just wasn't enough as an early barrage by the Minutemen, led by a 3-run second inning, was enough to get Washington Township over the hump, and they win this one 5-3.
This was a great high school baseball game. Both teams took each other's best shots. They played well. They overcame adversity. It was everything you want to see in a baseball game, and it was 2 teams that are very, very good teams.
Peyton Andrews going to get your player of the game with 9 strikeouts, 5 hits. He only allowed 1 walk in the game. Or no, I'm sorry, it was a hit by pitch. Oh, no, he did have 1 walk. I apologize. 9 strikeouts, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 1 walk as Clearview, the number 15 team in the state of New Jersey, falls for their 3rd loss of the year. Again, they had lost to Gloucester Catholic 16-1, and their first loss of the year came to it was GCIT, so they're now 4-2 in the Tri-County Royal. They'll host Vineland in non-conference play on Monday. But what I'll tell you is that Clearview just seemed like after they played yesterday, they beat Shalleck, a Group 1 team, by only 4 runs. It didn't seem like they had the same amount of life today. Josh Jurgen was fine, but it seemed like the defense was lacking. There was a lot of mistakes that Clearview made, and Washington Township, kudos to them, they took advantage of it.
That's true, Dan. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned each time a baseball game is played. The good news for Clearview is it's not the end of the season. They're not eliminated from tournaments or anything. There's a lot of baseball to be played. So you take what you learned today and become better because of it.
No doubt. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Again, your player of the game, Peyton Andrews, 9 strikeouts in 6 innings, only allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 1 walk in the victory. Washington Township downs Clearview for the first time since 2024. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my color commentator Fred Swartz of Rowan University, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow in Northeast Philadelphia for some women's tackle football between the Philadelphia Phantoms and the Tri-State Warriors. Our next high school game will be on Monday, May the 4th, between Bordentown and Pennsauken. Final score, Washington Township 5, Clearview 3. Have a good one, folks.